Hello everybody, a big welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be completely honest and say I'm actually really nervous to make this. I know that tarot cards can be done in so many different ways and I'm self-conscious about doing it differently and then getting mocked for it. Also, what I've decided to do is a reading based on YouTube because I feel as though you guys, care about that most probably. As I was saying, tarot cards are one of those things where everyone does it differently. That can be said for the way you shuffle, the way you spread the cards out, the way you choose the order, the way you spread. Sometimes you can even have the different positions of a Celtic cross spread. Celtic cross spread is what I'm going to show you in this video. There's lots of different ways of doing it, but I really like this particular spread because it kind of just captures a lot about somebody in one small picture. Also, before I get into this, something that I would like to say is that I believe, and a lot of other spiritualists, that our future is not set in stone and it's not fixed. So although these cards may say certain things might happen or they might give me advice, nothing is fixed. So for instance, I once went to a psychic who told me I was going to be pregnant early next year. And I was so nervous because I don't want to be pregnant. I never got pregnant, by the way, and it's been like a year later. Reading someone's future is one of those things where you are reading their future at that point in time. So depending on tiny little, really insignificant things they may choose to do between seeing you and carrying on with their life, I really 100% believe that small things have an effect of changing huge things. That's why I don't tend to like going to psychics too much, mainly because I feel like whatever will be, and if someone was to tell me something, because I will think about it too much, it might cause me to change that. Yeah, it would be nice to hear if something bad's going to happen because then I have the ability to maybe change that, but I don't want to worry myself sick. And if I want to be told, if I'm told that something good is going to happen, maybe I might change that by thinking about it too much or forcing it to happen too early. I will leave a link to one of my favourite tarot for beginners website down there. It's really good, really helpful. It's full of so much juicy information. This is a fairly awkward place to do this, but it's the best area I could find to capture it on camera. I would find myself somewhere comfortable that I can just sit in for a little bit and meditate or think. When I say meditate, people always assume someone who sits there like hum, but I literally just mean somewhere quiet. I could play like soft music, whatever. So in this instance, I would, because I'm trying to keep this YouTube related for you guys, I would possibly say something like, what is some advice that I could learn to help my YouTube? Am I going in the right direction with my YouTube channel? What is something I need to know? Will this be something that I will be doing in the near future? So I'll be shuffling and I'll just be thinking about this thing, problem, whatever. So I've done my thinking, I've done my shuffling, I stopped when I felt it was right, and now I cut. I usually then go first pile, second pile, and on top of the third. First card, second card, third card, fourth card, fifth card, sixth card, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10. A lot of the rules when it comes to tarot cards is that there aren't instructions. You just kind of learn at your own pace for your own pack of cards. I think that it sounds silly, but you kind of learn, you build this like weird relationship between yourself and the cards. It's weird because it's about trusting your instincts. Okay, so position number one, the first card that I'm about to turn over tells you a lot about me. So the person in question, the person who is wanting to know an answer, basically a representative of themselves. This card is me. You know yourself more than anyone. So if you know this card speaks to you, then you know this is legit, right? Quite excited and scared. Two of Wands. Okay. Two of Wands generally represents personal power. It can mean commanding attention and respect. So in this case, I would understand that in relation to the question, because being a YouTuber in general does involve a lot of commanding for attention, right? I hate to say it, but people make videos for fun, yes, but at the end of the day, they want people to view their stuff and they want their stuff to be liked. In regards to this question, I definitely understand why that is my present position. That is me right now. At the same time though, what I really like about this being my card is that the fact it also represents creativity, like boldness, doing what others haven't, facing things full on, like grabbing the bull by its horns, as people say, a man on a mission, with a need for power, being able to achieve goals, being bold, showing originality. Yeah, so the card that comes across this is literally the card that crosses me. Whatever is kind of stopping me in my tracks, I see this as something negative in a way, although sometimes you can turn it over and realize actually this is positive. Whatever is working against you, but at times for you. Oh god, what's it gonna be? Okay, this is interesting. I may make things a little bit complicated for you. This card in general represents education and learning, becoming informed, but there are such things in tarot readings called opposing cards or reinforcing cards. So basically, if you get like a certain pair of cards in your reading, they can work together and mean something else. So, Two of Wands, which actually happens to be underneath this card, is possibly trying to tell me that I am hoping to diverge from the crowd and be a pioneer. As that's coming like across me, that tells me here, who kind of wants to do my goals, my missions, but this that is crossing me is the need to do something different, trying to achieve something different from the crowd, which is very interesting because this card in itself says you are trying to be original, but the thing that's coming across me is the fact I can't. So let's move on to this position now, which is position number 3. This is kind of like my goals and destiny and hopes and wishes. This and this card are very similar to each other. This one represents my inner hopes and wishes and kind of like the root of me that isn't as conscious as this card here. This up here is usually a card that I'm like, yeah, I know that. I'm like, I would try my best to work towards that card every day. So let's turn it over and see what my hopes and wishes are, and you know, just share with the world what my hopes and wishes are. Why am I doing this online? I don't know. Let's turn it over. Oh my gosh, wow, I have never had this card before. Instantly, kind of looking at this card just makes me feel nice. But that makes sense because this card is supposed to represent what I want. It's all about what the cards are speaking to you and the messages they're trying to give you, rather than textbook answers by looking online or in a book. The 10 of Cups makes a lot of sense to me. It basically means reducing stress and tension, feeling content. The main thing I get from this is contentment. It also, because you can see at the bottom here, there's like children playing and the family look fairly relaxed and kind of content, like I said, but I get relaxing from this as well. I can really understand why this would be put in my goal position and what I'm trying to achieve. I've been very down quite a lot recently in respect of YouTube, which is what we're talking about in this spread, because of the fact they have been kind of messing about with a lot of YouTubers' channels. I worked out the other day, they have unsubscribed 11,000 people from my YouTube channel over the past 6 months, which is absolutely insane. So it has been everything but relaxing. The next one we're going to go on to, I usually move on to this position next. So like I was saying, this is like the root of it, your foundation, what makes you what you are in today's present position. So Queen of Wands, she's a very good card. She's something you would probably want to see in your future position. She is a generally good person. If you're told that you are like her, then that's great. She's supposed to be a beautiful person, beautiful card, assertive, wholehearted, energetic, self-assured and cheerful. The fact that she's shown up in my roots, I feel like her positive outlook on life and the fact that she believes in herself is what drives me to do YouTube in the first place. So although sometimes I put myself down a bit and I think, well, I'm not always positive, and I know I'm not always positive, and I know I'm not always too self-assured, but to a certain degree, I have a lot of that, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be doing this still. Think of the number of years I've been doing YouTube. So like that drive needs to come from some sort of positive, cheerful energy, because otherwise instant success doesn't come quickly. And I know that, otherwise I wouldn't continue. And if I wasn't that, would I be working towards this goal up here all the time? Probably not. Let's turn over the past first. So let's look at my past. Obviously I can tell you if this is right or not, because it's my past. King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles is very similar to the Queen of Wands, which you can see here, which is interesting. The King of Pentacles represents making success. Like, as you can see, he's a king. He's sat there with all his pentacles. He's a businessman. He takes an idea and he makes it work. He makes money and he keeps to commitment. So I think the commitment part of this speaks to me the most. As I was saying, the fact that I've got these committed roots in me says a lot about my past. I've worked for so long towards what I do. So that makes a lot of sense. And the fact these two cards go well together makes a lot of sense, because let's say if we had very different cards in my roots and my past, you'd think, why are my roots so negative if my past was so positive? So this card is one of my favorites. This is your near future. Once again, like I said at the beginning of this video, I just want to say that things can change. So the great thing about this spread is that if you don't like what you see in your future card, you can change that. So that being said, let's turn this over and see what it is. This is like one of the scariest cards to turn over, because I want it to be a good one. Oh. Most people who do tarot readings have favourite cards or least favourite cards. This is a new favourite I discovered. I really like this card. But this card I get a lot in readings. It comes up a lot, and I think it says a lot about me actually when I explain to you what this card means. So Eight of Cups is kind of realising that the current cycle is over, venturing off into another land, starting a new trip, journey. It means letting go, sometimes feeling tired, listless, sort of losing hope in a way, becoming a bit burned out. As depressing as this is about to sound, I do find myself in that position quite a lot in life. I feel as though I'm constantly looking for answers. I'm the type of person that always asks myself if I'm in the right path in life in general. I think if that card doesn't tell you that enough, then I don't know what will. You can tell by the pictures. The thing about this particular pack of cards, by the way, I forgot to say this part, tarot cards with good pictures on, by the way, are worth buying. I would steer from ones that are a little bit vague. I like looking at pictures and seeing what they tell me. So if you're a beginner, get a very nicely illustrated pack, because then you don't have to look up the answers too much. You can just look at the picture, see what you can take from it. This man, without a doubt, tells me he is not too content, which is ironic because my goals are contentment, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna get that too soon. But this can also tell me I'm concentrating on what is important. Maybe I start on a journey of discovery. But all in all, this dude is starting out on a new path. This could literally mean that I start off on a new path in the sense of what I create on YouTube. It could mean that I start making a different genre of content. It could mean that possibly I do not continue YouTube. I mean, this card is all about an ending is approaching. So this card isn't really something that I would have wanted to have seen, if I'm going to be honest. So let's have a look. So bye YouTube, I'm off. I'm gonna go find better, greater things. Oh, I don't want that. Oh, God. If I go elsewhere, please come with me. This position down here represents kind of my attitude. I know this guy in the middle here represents me as a person, but this I see as more of my emotions and my way of being. Basically my attitude towards all of this going on. Sometimes this can be quite a difficult card for people to read, because we tend to not really know our attitude until people tell us. Like, I don't know if you've ever found it difficult to accept the way someone sees you, because you're like, I'm not like that. But then when more than one person says it, you're like, maybe I am. Oh, Page of Cups. There are a lot of cups in this spread. The fact there's a page of cups too reinforces that in a way, kinda. Generally, the cups in tarot cards means emotion. They represent emotions, which makes a lot of sense to me because this is all about emotion to me. I know YouTube is what I do, and people might say, no, the main thing about that is finance and career. But to me, I've always had a lot of emotion attached to YouTube because it's a passion at the end of the day. And it's not just a job that I see as a chore and wake up and go, ugh, about, which is what a lot of people do. There's so much emotion attached to it because I enjoy it so much and I love it so much. And the fact that these things are working against me all the time does make me sad at the end of the day. Page of Cups in this certain position says a lot because it means attitudes in this position. The Page of Cups asks you whether you're being emotional recently, whether you're crying about trivial things, and you can ask my boyfriend. I've been crying about so many different things and I'm dealing with a lot of emotions at the moment. I've recently had a broken laptop, phone and camera all at once, and I've only just recently bought a new laptop, which I'm so excited about receiving. I feel like my work can be done a bit more efficiently with a better laptop. But that really stressed me out. Obviously, like, all of those things going wrong affect the way I work, and it's causing my emotions to go haywire at the moment. I'm just being so irrational with the way I'm dealing with things. I just cry and cry and cry at really stupid things. It's just because everything seems to be working against me at the moment. So I can definitely understand that. Then the card on top of that represents your environment. So this can sometimes represent how people are treating you. So it's like your house. It's sort of, it's called the house position sometimes. It's just your environment, basically. These two cards usually go together. Your environment usually affects your attitude, right? So let's turn this over. Wow, we've got another cup card. That is insane. Four of Cups means ungratefulness. Yeah, it can be a little bit of a self-absorbed card. Once again, look at the pictures. Pictures tell a lot on good tarot packs. He's been handed a cup, but as you can see, he's not taking any notice of it. He is refusing to notice what is being handed to him because he is emotionally wrapped up in his own little world that he isn't really seeing things for what they are. So here is me being the emotional wreck that I am. I am being handed things in the sense of luck and nice things in life. I think this card's trying to tell me, but I'm refusing to see it probably because I am so caught up in this idea that my life does feel a little bit flat and boring at the moment. I think I've even mentioned that in a previous video if you don't believe me. But this card itself represents in a zone where you feel like everything's a bit dry. So although this is in a position where it's just telling me what my environment is, I think that's telling me a lot about how I can change this, which is my attitude. If I kind of get out of this emotional warped world that I'm sat in, I'm not going to feel the need to get upset about things all the damn time. And although this isn't in the advice position, which is coming up next, by the way, I'm very excited, it does tell me a lot about how I can change my ways, how I can stop getting so self-absorbed to start living in a world with other people again, rather than me. Me. So let's move on to the next position now. This position is one of my favourites. These two in general are my favourites. So the first one means it's an advice card. I'm excited. So let's turn it over. What is my piece of advice you can give me from looking at this spread? Oh my god, I cannot believe it. More cups. I am an emotional wreck, which I am. This is quite a visually pleasing card, to be honest. But the sad thing about this is an awful card, in my opinion, to get in this position because this card represents wishful thinking, dreaming, creating fantasies, letting your imagination go wild, waiting for your ship to come in. So this card can tell me something depending on how my situation is. So let's say I'm in a situation that is very messy, disorganized and disordered. This would be telling me in a chaotic situation, some tightening up needs to be done. Nobody is happy and productive in a crazy environment, basically. But I feel as though recently, in the back of my mind, I have actually been thinking that I do need to kind of set my life on a bit more of a system. Since finishing uni, I haven't really had too much time to, you know, organize my room. Like, this card can literally mean to clear your shite up. It's telling you to back up your plans with work and effort, tighten up your life and commit yourself doing what it takes to reach your goals, even if it does mean things like organising your bedroom, which I'm not even going to turn this camera around right now because this room is an absolute tip, and it does affect my productivity and emotions. You know when people say a tidy house equals a tidy mind? My mind has not been tidy. Let's do the last one because this last position is so exciting. This is my final result or outcome. So basically, this card is my very, very far future. This card is what will happen with all these cards that you've just seen. Oh God, it's so scary. Another card with cups on. What? You can probably already tell that the Two of Cups, just by looking at the picture, means making a partnership. It means helping or being helped. It can mean joining with another. It can mean sharing, bonding. It's important to look at your entire spread, by the way. You can't just look at each card individually. You've kind of got to see what the relationship is between all of your cards. Notice what colours go together, like what stands out to you, what ones look like pairs. But all of my cards up until this one have been on their own, other than my hopes and wishes. So what I find interesting is that my hopes and wishes do look somewhat similar to my future, which is a good thing. It's the only cards where I'm with somebody else, or there is some sort of like communication. The fact that this is a card with cups on, once again, represents emotions. So these two coming together, although it appears as more of a romantic sort of coming together, which is interesting because we're talking about work related stuff, but cups still represents emotions. So I feel as though this is my distant future, this is my near future. So this kind of like trailing off in another direction could possibly mean I'm leading to some sort of partnership or work collaboration with something or someone. So this is interesting. At first, when I saw this, I got a bit worried because, you know, I'm venturing off into something. It scares me a little bit. This is a scary card for me to receive. I think it might be scary for everyone. It's just not, I don't like this card, basically. But kind of seeing this kind of makes me a little bit more hopeful because I'm a very private person. I keep myself to myself, and that is what makes my emotions really bad sometimes because I do get wrapped up in my own little world. The first thing I kind of take from it all is emotions, like I was saying. I'm almost, you know when they say a problem shared is a problem shared as a problem halved? I kind of get that from looking at my future. Like, these emotions and like problems in the spread is gonna be shared with a desired partner. It means that I'm going to continue my work with somebody else, which is exciting. I don't know what that means. There's some sort of change happening. I don't get the feeling that this card means I'm going to quit YouTube. I get the feeling that this card means I'm gonna start taking it somewhere else, perhaps. And that being with some like-minded person. Stay tuned to my channel, you may find out. Before I end this video, what I would take from this spread is to don't lose myself in emotions too much. Look at what I've got going and not just sit there with my 3 cups and avoid any form of opportunity or whatever that comes my way because I'm just too sad. Clean my surroundings, get some order in my life. I have all this commitment in my spread apparently. I haven't really kind of put enough action in it. I do a lot of wishful thinking, which is true. I just need a little bit more order, and I think that it will bring good things. This isn't really proof of anything. This is just me sharing what I would do when I try and read my tarot. You can stay tuned to my channel to find out whether this comes true or not. Perhaps you'd like me to do this again on another topic, maybe love, or perhaps you'd like to see me do it in the near future so I can tell you what was true in the end or what wasn't true, and then I can do it again and see how I can link that to my previous one. I really enjoyed it and I'd like to know whether you did too. But for now, I will see you guys for my next video, which will be on Wednesday. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a bit weird. I'm sorry that this isn't my normal sort of content, but subscribe to be notified when I make the other kind of content that I usually do. I'm on social media too, such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. But for now, see you soon. Mwah.